Hey Milt, this is Little Milton. He was a famous blues musician back in the early 1900s. We're standing here in front of the Blues Hall of Fame Museum. The blues organization here was founded in Memphis in 1980 to honor the blues, and this is really quite an interesting town. They apparently have quite a few museums here, and we're really enjoying seeing some of them. We just finished the National Civil Rights Museum, which was a moving experience, and now we're about to go into the Blues Hall of Fame Museum, which should be kind of an energizing experience. I don't know whether they'll let us take videos in there. If they don't, we'll take pictures and we can do a narration over it. But if they let us take a video, we'll give you a little view into the museum and see if it's worth going to.
Pack your bags, let's hit the road with Steve and Young. From Paris to Tokyo, tasting flavors like you've never seen.
Okay, thank you. I was down on Beale Street yesterday and I heard some good musicians. I really thought it was an incredible, the artwork here is really interesting.
I like this one.
Yeah. I like all of it, but yeah, this is particularly unusual.
The International Blues Challenge, always you do here, it's a competition. We get about 200 bands on Beale Street.
Mm-hmm.
They start out on Wednesday, quite successful career.
Seems
but it's
like
really cool because we have music up and down Beale in about a dozen clubs.
Oh yeah.
And they have workshops during the day. A lot of the blues record labels bring, because there are a lot of people who do festivals and have blues clubs and all come.
Mm-hmm.
These record labels will come with a bunch of their bands, and they'll play during the day when the competition's not on.
Uh-huh.
And then they jam on Beale Street all night. So
The
I've
first
heard
time I
60,
came to
70
Memphis,
bands.
it was in September,
Yeah.
probably, like I said, 25, 30 years ago. And they had the Roots and Blues Festival going on,
Yeah.
and there was music everywhere. Booths and in the clubs.
Wrapped around the best of the blues, right?
Right.
And these first three kiosks are themed. They made a few years ago. Don't miss it. It's really excellent.
Okay.
Gives a great profile. But she had the first gold record in American history, St. Louis Blues. Here is country blues. So we're really talking about, when they say Delta blues, my nickname for this is one man and a guitar, you know. All of these are Delta, exception being Blind Boy Fuller, who is Piedmont area of blues, you know, over on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Georgia, North Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. You know, Charlie Patton was the first probably superstar of the blues.
Oh.
And he wasn't necessarily known far outside of the Delta, partly because records were just starting to happen. You know,
Right.
the music could travel with the records, right? Howling Wolf played for about a year with Charlie Patton.
Oh, wow.
And Charlie Patton, Howling Wolf got a lot of his stage styling from Patton, because Patton, a lot of the blues guitarists in the early days would put on a stage show. So they would play the guitar behind their back, or they'd get down on the floor, you know, play. And
The rock musicians.
yes,
Nowadays.
oh yeah, no, all that stuff goes
Started
all,
in the blues.
Charlie Patton, you know, really, and then other blues people emulating that, right? And Howling Wolf, you know, hard to understand the beauty of it compared to a very classic Delta sound. Quite a star in Europe. In late in career, he spent half every year in Europe, you know. Funny thing is he ended up marrying a girl, a French girl, but he already had a wife here in America.
Okay.
So, yeah, you know. So Levi's not here today, but he's one of our workers here. Older guy like me, he'd been around Memphis forever, and he didn't know the blues. I was explaining to him, you got B.B. King, Howling Wolf, Muddy Waters, Ivory Joe Hunter, and all. He says, well, I don't know who all those, I don't know who all those guys are, but that was my best friend. We used to hang around.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I mean, that's the fun part about giving the tours and talking to people. They have such great stories that many of them do, you know, about experiences they've had and all. Newman's his last name, but he was here and he started the Chicago Blues Festival and all. He was getting a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Oh.
So he comes down and when we're making the record, and over there on piano was Ray Charles. I said, I did not know Ray Charles toured with Lowell Fulson for 2 years.
Wow.
You know, and kind of makes sense when I think of the style of his play, of his sound in the 50s.
Yes.
And then I think of where Ray Charles ended up, you know, kind of. King had a very disciplined band. There are times we'll go hear music and I have to leave after about 30 or 40 minutes because the band's sloppy. But you know, when you get a band that's on, I mean, they just strike it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One of the things that we have a lot of people come in and talk about how much they love Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Oh, yeah.
And so what I'll do is play Freddie King for them.
Yeah.
And I say, now, can you hear Stevie in there?
In there, yeah.
And you know, you can, but then when you play Albert Collins from the 50s through the 2000,
Yeah.
Albert Collins, it's like Stevie Ray Vaughan's went to practice with Albert, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It's so much the same, the way he attacked the guitar. It's not so much exactly the note or whatever, but it's that.
You know, anybody from Texas, Stevie
Yeah.
Ray Vaughan is God,
Yeah.
as far as they're concerned.
Yeah. This Texas guitar, this guy was, you know, you hear of musicians, but you don't necessarily listen to all of them, right?
Yeah.
Particularly since they weren't necessarily in the record store when it was growing up. But Pee Wee Crayton is an interesting one. But Pee Wee Crayton sort of was a contemporary, maybe a little bit younger than T-Bone Walker. James Booker.
You came with me. We heard Dr. John at House of Blues like the
This
first
is
time I
James
took you to
Booker?
New Orleans.
Yeah, James Booker.
This is the James Booker?
Yes, he was the piano prince of New Orleans.
Yeah.
So we got other guests here. So y'all, there's another whole side, okay? So just cruise around. You can sit in there and listen to music, songs, okay? All right. Enjoy yourself.